This goes beyond simple procedural tweaks. We're talking about actual dollars that determine whether families eat well this month or struggle to make ends meet. Here's what most people don't realize yet. Certain beneficiaries will discover additional funds appearing in their accounts, while others will encounter brand new verification requirements they've never dealt with before. The gap between understanding what's ahead and being blindsided could determine whether you cover your obligations smoothly or find yourself playing financial catch-up. What I'm about to reveal will catch you completely off guard. Without proper preparation, your bank account could take a hit this month that affects everything from housing to healthcare. This isn't hyperbole or clickbait. The modifications arriving in February will touch your housing payment, your food budget, your prescription expenses, literally everything tied to that Social Security transfer landing in your account at the expected moment. Keep watching because I'm about to explain precisely what's unfolding, why it impacts your situation, and how to guarantee you receive every cent coming to you. I'll provide exact dates, real-world scenarios, and concrete steps you can implement immediately to shield yourself from unwelcome surprises. I'm William, and let's dive into exactly what February 2026 holds, why these changes matter, and what they mean for your monthly financial planning. The Social Security Administration published its official calendar, and this month brings several modifications that every beneficiary must understand, not just comprehend casually. You need to write these down, add them to your planner, program them into your smartphone alerts. Let's discuss timing first. The initial deposits are scheduled for February 10th. Correct. For individuals whose benefits arrive early each month, your transfers might already begin showing up in your banking accounts on that particular date. But here's where things get complicated, and this is the interesting part. These initial deposits may contain modifications you didn't anticipate. Certain beneficiaries will notice an increase, making their deposit larger than normal. Others might observe a slight postponement because their payment is moving through brand new confirmation systems. This happens because the SSA is rolling out fresh verification protocols to guarantee all deposits are computed accurately following the 2025 cost of living modifications that became effective. Consider what this means in practical terms. If you typically receive your deposit on the 3rd of each month and you've organized your obligation payments around that specific date, and suddenly your transfer doesn't show up until the 10th, that represents a complete 7-day postponement. Your housing payment might be expected on the 1st, your home loan payment might automatically withdraw on the 5th, your service bills might be programmed to process on the 7th. A 7-day postponement can trigger overdraft charges, tardy payment penalties, and an entire domino effect of financial complications. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this occurring? Why modify a structure that's been functioning for years? The explanation is inflation and revised regulations. In December 2025, the government finalized the COLA enhancement for Social Security and Supplemental Security income for February 2026. This means deposits are being modified upward by 4.2% on average. Let me translate that into actual currency so you comprehend what that genuinely means in your banking account. New payment dates and COLA adjustments. For instance, if you were collecting $2,500 monthly last year, you could witness an enhancement of approximately $63. That's $63 additional dollars every single month, which totals $750 more throughout the entire year. But it's not merely about figures on a balance sheet, it's about timing and qualification. The SSA is double verifying records, particularly for individuals who are collecting multiple benefits, like Social Security plus SSDI or SSI. This confirmation process guarantees there are no excessive payments, which is beneficial. You don't want to collect too much now and then have to reimburse it later. But it also means certain deposits could be retained for several days longer than typical, while they confirm everything is accurate. But here's the insider information. Most individuals don't understand the detail that's not being broadly advertised because the SSA doesn't want everyone telephoning about it. Certain beneficiaries may actually witness a one-time supplemental deposit, according to documentation circulating within Social Security locations, and I've examined this paperwork, it's authentic. A limited group of low-income seniors who haven't collected the complete 2025 COLA enhancement could receive a corrective deposit in February. That could range anywhere from $150 to $500 additional in one single sum. Picture that. You're anticipating your regular transfer, perhaps with the modest COLA enhancement, and suddenly there's an extra $300 sitting in your account. That's currency that can create a genuine difference. That's a month's worth of food for certain people. That's medication expenses handled. That's unforeseen vehicle repairs managed. Listen attentively, because not everyone qualifies, and it's determined by income and previous underpayments. If you fall into this category, your February transfer could surprise you in an extremely positive manner. But you need to examine your online profile to determine if you're eligible, because the SSA isn't distributing notifications to everyone regarding this. Simultaneously, there are modifications on benefit delivery approaches that you need to understand because they could influence whether you receive your currency on schedule. Paper drafts are being eliminated faster than ever. The SSA has been promoting electronic transfers for years, but now they're genuinely accelerating that procedure. By February, the SSA estimates that over 95% of beneficiaries will collect their deposits electronically. That's the positive news. Electronic deposits are faster, more protected, and more dependable. But here's the challenge. If you still depend on a paper draft, make certain your mailing address is current, because postponements have already been documented in particular regions, and a misaddressed draft could mean waiting days or even weeks longer than anticipated. Think about the Postal Service. They're already managing with staffing shortages in numerous areas. They're managing with weather postponements. And now they're managing with an increased quantity of Social Security drafts going out simultaneously. If your draft goes to the incorrect mailing address because you relocated last year and didn't update your details, it could require 2 weeks or more to get that corrected. 2 weeks without your Social Security deposit when you're living on a fixed income. That's a crisis. That's why it's crucial to verify your details right now, today, before these deposits start going out. Sign into your My Social Security profile online. Examine that your mailing address is accurate. Examine that your banking account details are current. SSDI and SSI specific updates. Now, let's discuss specifics about Social Security disability insurance, because there are modifications here that influence a particular group of individuals. February 2026 will be the initial month that the SSA implements a revised calendar for SSDI deposits for recently approved beneficiaries. Instead of collecting their initial deposit on the typical 15th of the month, certain beneficiaries could receive it on the 12th or 13th. This modification is intended to streamline processing to make the structure more efficient and transfer currency into people's hands faster. So if you're new to SSDI, if you just received approval in the last several months and you're waiting for your initial deposit, or if you're assisting someone else manage their benefits, pay close attention to this. Your initial draft might arrive earlier than you anticipated, which is positive news. But if you're not watching for it, you might overlook it or think there's been an error. If you've been struggling financially, waiting for your disability approval, and you've been organizing your budget, thinking your initial draft will arrive on the 15th, but it actually arrives on the 12th. That's 3 additional days you have currency in your account. 3 additional days you can cover obligations, purchase groceries, handle emergencies. That matters. State supplements and bonus payments. Another critical detail involves supplemental security income, or SSI. And this is where things get complicated because it varies by state. The federal SSI deposit rate remains the same for most beneficiaries, but February 2026 includes a special state supplement modification for particular states like California, New York, and Florida. This means residents of these states could witness an enhancement ranging from $25 to $75 depending on their local regulations and how their state government has decided to supplement the federal deposit. Now, before you get too enthusiastic, not all states have made the modification yet, and some are still pending legislative approval. Let me explain why this matters. If you reside in California and you're receiving SSI, you might witness an extra $75 in your February deposit. That's not insignificant. That's substantial currency when you're living on $914 monthly federal SSI. An extra $75 is almost a 10% enhancement. That could be the distinction between affording your housing and not affording your housing. But if you reside in a state that hasn't approved their supplement modification yet, you're not receiving that currency. So you've got seniors in California receiving an extra $75 and seniors in Ohio receiving nothing extra beyond the federal amount. Is that equitable? Perhaps not. But that's how the structure operates when you have state supplements on top of federal benefits. This makes February 2026 a month of mixed modifications, some positive, some requiring careful attention, and all of them depending on where you reside and what specific benefits you're collecting. Now, why does this all matter to you? Why am I spending considerable time explaining these details? Because timing and precision are everything when you're living on a fixed income. A several-day difference in when your transfer arrives, or a slight modification in your deposit, can influence your obligations, your housing, or even your prescription coverage. For seniors living on a fixed income, these slight modifications can accumulate quickly, and the SSA understands this. That's why their notices are urging beneficiaries to examine online, verify banking details, and report any discrepancies immediately. Finally, here's the part that will keep you engaged. The part that makes February 2026 more important than just another month of Social Security deposits. The February 2026 modifications could establish the foundation for modifications later this year. Social Security is planning a series of system-wide improvements, including faster electronic transfers, automatic COLA recalculations, and more precise reporting for those with multiple benefits. What happens in February will provide a strong signal of how these modifications will roll out in March and beyond. If the February modifications go smoothly, expect more modifications to roll out faster. If there are complications, postponements, errors, confusion, they'll slow down the implementation. And if you miss one key step, like confirming your banking details or examining for state supplements, you might be excluded from extra deposits that others collect. So February 2026 isn't just another month on the calendar. It's a preview of the new Social Security landscape, where timing, precision, and attention to detail will determine whether you receive the complete benefit you're entitled to.